Hello everyone, welcome to Homework Help. If you find the video useful, please subscribe to the channel. So in this video, we'll solve these two problems based on the concepts of vectors as forces. So as per the first problem, three forces of 10 Newton, 20 Newton and 30 Newton are in state of equilibrium. What is the angle between the equilibrant and each of the smaller forces? So the first thing is to analyze the state of equilibrium. The state of equilibrium means that these three forces balance each other out. That happens when the sum of the magnitudes of the two smallest vectors is equal to or greater than the magnitude of the third vector. So that's a very important concept you need to understand and memorize. Now in this case, the smallest vectors are the 10 Newton and 20 Newton. So the sum is equal to 30, which is equal to the magnitude of the third vector. So that means these three forces are in equilibrium. And since the sum is equal to 30, that means these three forces can be aligned along a straight line. So the smaller force is the 10 Newton force. The other force is the 20 Newton force. So the third force, 30 Newton force, can be shown in the opposite direction to these two forces. So in this case, so as you can see, the 30 Newton force balances out the 10 Newton and the 20 Newton force. So the 30 Newton force here is the equilibrant of the smaller forces 10 Newton and 20 Newton. And since the forces 10 Newton and 20 Newton are acting in the left direction and 30 Newton to the right, that means the angle between the equilibrant and the smaller forces is 180 degrees. They are acting in the opposite directions. So there's a very important concept you need to understand and memorize to answer this type of problem. So we are done with the first problem. Now we can analyze the second problem. Two forces 10 Newton and 29 Newton are acting on an object. How should these forces be arranged to produce the largest possible resultant? Now a resultant of two or more vectors is a vector that produces the same effect as the two or more vectors that are being added. So we have to find how we can arrange these two forces so that the resultant is the largest possible. Now we know that there are different ways in which we can arrange the two forces that are acting on an object. So one possible way is that they are acting at an angle to the object. So let's assume this box represents the object and this is the 20 Newton force. Now the 10 Newton force can be shown at an angle say like this. So if we have to draw the resultant of these two forces using the parallelogram method, so we have to draw the parallelogram. So there is a parallelogram we get and the resultant will be this red vector. Now as this red angle becomes bigger, the length of this diagonal of the parallelogram will get longer. So the longest diagonal will be achieved if these two forces are acting in the same direction, to the left or to the right. So that scenario will look something like this. And in this case, the resultant will be equal to 30 newtons. So the largest possible resultant is achieved when the forces act in the same direction. So this should be the final answer for this second problem. So these are the steps you have to keep in mind to solve a problem like this one. So I hope you'll find this video useful. Please share it, like it, and subscribe to Homework Help. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye.